there are two main drivers for humans, all of human existence. One, more love. Two, fear of loss of love.
On this episode, I'm going to learn how to hate myself less and how that just might be the thing to everything I've ever wanted. If this is your first time seeing me, I have 44 siblings. Yes, actually.
I'm sorry. You have how many siblings?
I have 44 siblings.
You have 44 first siblings.
My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'll be spending a day with Calvin, an ex-cult member.
We had somebody on the show who has 44 siblings and 4 moms because he grew up in a polygamous compound.
Welcome back. As a fundamentalist Mormon, having 5 parents and 44 brothers and sisters was the norm for Calvin Wayman. 44 siblings. That's 40 plus 4.
Okay, 4 moms.
Each of my moms had 11 to 13 kids each.
Bro. What? Okay, where do you fall?
I am the 11th child, born in the 11th month. Sentence you've never heard. I'm the 11th child, and I'm one of the older kids.
I've never heard that sentence. That's fabulous.
And we all grew up in one house.
No, you did not. No, how big is the house?
Should have been bigger. But like, I'm Calvin, also known as the Cultured Boy. It has been quite the journey to get to this point. This is my show. Today's episode is with a former musician that now changes people's lives over really simple things.
Most radically, authentically expressed version of you will lead to the most love in your life.
He's going to challenge me too. Dude, you've been saying a few triggering things on this. Oh, that's a big one. This is Cultured Boy. Let's get into it. Justin, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. How are you?
Doing well. So excited to see you. I'm excited for this conversation. We're living in a world where people could use a little bit of love, self-love, and I want to get into some of that. But first, I have to give some love to the cultured community, specifically to Ariel, who I think you also know, because this episode, I want to dedicate to her because she's, I was asking people like, who needs to come on the show? And you kept coming up and she said, it's definitely you. And a quick note that she said I was like, why? And she says, well, I asked her, what is something that she would say to you? And she says, she would just thank you for all the work that you put out there, because it's been so life-changing for her. And it's also needed in today's day and age. She wants to say thank you for speaking on self-love, boundaries, treating yourself right, and reminding us to require the same from the people around us. And most of all, for showing us what a healed masculine man actually looks like, and that it is possible to be with a partner who feels safe emotionally, physically, and mentally. That's been powerful for me to see and believe in. So that's from Ariel to you to start.
Wow. You try to make me cry early on this podcast.
Whatever you're doing it right, my man.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's hits home a lot. I just had my first baby. I had my daughter 8 weeks ago. So it's just, I mean, I have goosebumps now because hearing Ariel say that, I'm like, man, like there's so many people, we've all had to do so much work to overcome childhood. And my partner, Megan, and I, we say this all the time. We're like, what's going to happen when there's a little girl who's just unconditionally loved from the moment she's born? What's that going to be like? I don't even know, man. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just so that, I mean, yeah, hearing Ariel say that is amazing. It warms my heart, man.
Cool. Well, just to dive in, I'm sort of curious, like for people that don't know, because Ariel said she's known you for a while. And so for somebody to say that, I've dug into your stuff. We're going to get into some of your insights on self-love and getting healthier and stuff like that in a world where, you know, people can feel disempowered with their health and their mental health and everything like that. But for somebody that doesn't know you, and they're just seeing you, meeting you for the first time, how would you describe yourself? Who's Justin?
Authentic. Yeah, I would say my biggest journey, the whole thing has been a journey of self-love, and everyone's journey is a journey of self-love. Any personal growth you're doing, it's a self-love journey. If you're on a weight loss journey, it's a self-love journey. If you're on a scaling your business journey, it's a self-love journey, all of it. And really what I've landed on is my job is to help people become the most authentic version of themselves so that they can experience unconditional love of self. Because you can't experience unconditional love from other until you have it within self.
You
And that's
can't
really,
experience it from others unless you experience it yourself.
yes. Your capacity to love and be loved is capped at how much you love yourself.
Have you always been that way?
No, definitely not.
Where did it start? We'll get into some of
Um,
the other stuff of what you're teaching, but for you personally, where did it start where you're like, okay, fuck, I'm not where I'm not in a place where I actually really love myself.
Yeah, in my mid to late 20s. So my whole life, I've been a musician, a performer. I started performing on stage when I was 8 years old. Before that, I was doing stand-up comedy routines for my parents and their friends. I wanted to be Jim
Mm.
Carrey. That was all. I was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Jim Carrey. That was it. And I started playing piano when I was 8 years old, and I was real good. And the word phenom started getting thrown around. People were calling me the next Billy Joel. And the way that it works when we're children is our brains take things and run with them.
Yeah,
So even though my parents were lovely, my extended family was lovely, all the people around me loved me and they were very supportive, but my little child brain was just like, oh, performance equals love, right?
mm,
So nobody, and this is the thing about big T trauma, little T trauma, people get confused about it. It's just our structuring of the world is very traumatic, like learning what being a human is. Like I watch my daughter right now and she's like trying to figure out how to use her arms. And I'm like, that's so difficult. She's like struggling all the time, you know? And this is what eventually got me into Jungian depth psychology and learning the truth about ego and shadow and real shadow work. Because when we're children, our ego is built by the things that get us more love. And the reason for that is without love, when you're a little dependent child, if you don't have love, what happens? You die.
literally.
Food, shelter, protection. You have no money. None of that. You need love to survive. So our little
Mm.
children brains are wired to repeat more of what gets us love. So for me, performance ended up in my ego and being like quiet, timid, being a wallflower, not being, being an introvert was in my shadow.
Interesting.
But for every Justin,
Even though you had gotten positive validation
yes,
for the performing and stuff like that, it still made you shrink a little.
to an extent, it made me
Yeah.
shrink parts of self.
Got you.
Right. So when people hear about like internal family systems or doing
Yeah.
parts work or all this stuff, these are just the parts of
Yeah,
self.
I have a book right there of what's it called? No Broken Parts. What's the book called?
I'm not
Is
sure.
it is a book but it's on what you're talking about, the internal family systems,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
no
exactly.
bad parts or something like that. But yeah, so you're basically saying some parts of you were
Yes.
not fully integrated or
Yeah, we're not fully integrated. There are parts of selves that, like, my friend is a famous neuroscientist, and he calls it the tribe of selves that lives within us, right? We have all these archetypes. Jung, outlined them as archetypes within self, masculine, feminine, polarities, all this stuff. But the shadow isn't bad. That's the thing, right? Like when people hear
totally.
the term shadow, or I need to integrate my shadow or do shadow work, it's like this big scary thing. It's not. It's just the parts of self that took love away when you were a child, or you got a message that if I do that, that's bad. So what I give people the example for every Justin Nault, the piano player, there are a million little 8-year-old boys who played the piano and their dad was hungover and came over and slapped him in the head and was like, "Don't touch that piano."
Mm-hmm.
So for them, being a performer is in their shadow and being a quiet introvert is in their ego. They know,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I don't perform, I won't rock the boat and I'll get love and food and shelter and all these things.
Yep.
So that just led to a lifetime of performing. I
Performing.
started getting paid to perform by age 16. The first talent show that I sang at was like a packed house of 700 plus people. I ended up on the local news. Then I got my first paying gig at 17. I went to Berklee College of Music. I graduated with almost like a 3.86. I won a Berklee songwriting competition, moved down to Nashville. Next thing I know, I'm licensing music. My music is in movies and TV shows. I was playing over 300 shows a year. I had a reality
Okay.
TV show on ABC by age 25. And it was right around 26, 27 after I did the TV show. And I was like, wow, I have a drinking problem and I am miserable.
Ooh.
I'm drunk on stage 6 nights a week, playing between 200 and 300 shows a year for the last 10 years of a 15-year career. I hated the TV show. Filming the TV show was like one of my least favorite experiences in the music industry. And then I started getting around all these really successful musicians from the 90s, like Tonic, Collective Soul, Goo Goo Dolls. My friends were playing in their bands, and I got to meet them and be around them. And it was like this crystal ball where I was seeing guys that were like the biggest bands in the world selling out stadiums in 96 and 97. And now, like, They're on their third marriage. They're still drinking every night. Like I saw one guy get drunk at a bar and punch a wall and break his hand in his 50s. And I'm like, okay. And it started to kind of click for me that musicians, professional musicians, we never have to grow up because the rock star life is so glorified. Well, of course he's drunk. He's a musician. He's on stage. He's drinking. Everyone's drinking, right? And I ended up in this place where all of my romantic relationships were toxic because I was basically just like dating groupies. And I was in a really bad spot, man. You know, I'm going to bed at 6 o'clock in the morning every night. I'm drinking. And then I was still like, I was always going to the gym and things like that. I was always big gym goer, but I hadn't figured out nutrition. Like my mental health was not great. And it was really when I discovered the paleo diet that I started cleaning things up. I stopped drinking. I started focusing on nutrition, getting healthy, and my health started to transform overnight. And I was like, whoa, food is super powerful. And right around that same time, what I call the universal drop kick was my brother had a baby, my niece. Her name is Savannah. She was born having over 300 seizures a day. And these were called grand mal or burst suppression seizures. Like it's a death sentence. She was given less than 3 years to live, put in the pediatric ICU. They ran over $1 million in testing on her. My brother and his wife were immediately put on antidepressants. And then eventually they had to make a decision to drill a hole in her stomach and put in a G tube to feed her through a tube because she couldn't eat or drink. And at that time, I was studying nutrition because I had gotten into paleo and all this stuff. I was actually, in my spare time, I was becoming a nutritional therapist just to treat
Even while you're
myself.
still performing?
Yeah, still performing. Okay. But my days were my own, right? Like during the day, I'm just home. So I was like going to the gym, reading books and watching documentaries and stuff about our food system and the medical system. Read a book called Medical Nemesis, which is horrifying, from the 1970s. And that was when I realized they take children that are having epileptic seizures and they put them on a ketogenic diet. So a ketogenic diet in a medical setting is for the suppression of seizures. It's to stop seizures. It works with epileptic children and some other seizure disorders. Didn't work for Savannah, but they tried it. They put her on a ketogenic diet. Now, this is an infant with a feeding tube. She's not choosing what she eats. She's not watching her macros, right? So they give her a baby formula called KetoCal. And this is in every pediatric ICU in the country. Our tax dollars put it there, right? Okay. It's high fat, low carb, but mainstream medicine does not care or think about quality. So it was technically high fat, low carb, which is ketogenic, but all of those fats were hydrogenated seed oils. So seed oils is a big topic right now. I realized that. I brought it to the attention of the Vanderbilt neurologist. I said, look at these ingredients. He looks at the bottle and looks at me and says, I never thought to check that. And this was not a bad guy. He cared a lot about our family. He was trying to help us and had literally never been told, hey, maybe check the ingredients. So I went home with food dehydrators, food processors, and I created a baby formula in my kitchen, paleo-friendly superfood formula, and got it cleared to feed it to Savannah in her G-tube. And that ended up becoming my first protein powder that I ever sold on the internet. It's called the Perfect Paleo Powder. And that was how I moved out of music. I was like, okay, I don't want to be in music anymore. I read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And
Fantastic. Love it.
I took this thing I'd created and I added a whole bunch of collagen protein to it because the collagen protein trend was like starting to take off. Started selling it on Amazon, and here we are. It was like 11 years ago, man.
What was sort of were you seeing the writing on the wall because of the guy punching the wall and stuff like that? You're like, I don't want to be the perpetual Peter Pan sort of thing. Like I wanted to do something else because of, and what was that? Was it meaning? Was it because you didn't see it being healthy? Like what was the decision point that you're like, okay, was it purpose that this feels better? Like what made you cross that bridge?
The interesting thing is it's easy for me now. This is my late 20s. I'm 39 now. So I can look back now with a lens and like, and I put all the pieces together. I knew what was happening. At the time, bro, I had no idea. I didn't know what was going on. I was just lost. I was like, I don't know what to do. I hired my first talk therapist, and I ended up with this therapist for about 5 years. And, day one therapy, I walked in there like, I don't really know why I'm here. Something just feels off, but like everything's great. My life is awesome. I love it. My relationships with my family are great. My childhood was amazing. I don't know, just help me. I had not uncovered anything. I hadn't peeled any layers of the onion. And I ended up, the first psychedelic experience I ever had was I flew down to Peru in the rainforest. Yeah, and I had ayahuasca. Yeah, 4 sessions over 8 days. And then when I came home, I didn't feel that different, but I started quitting things. Like just like I'd stay in relationships that were toxic for way too long. Like I ended a relationship that I was in that was on again, off again. I was in a CrossFit gym doing thrusters for time, and my brain was just like, you need to stop. This is really bad for you. And I put down the weights, and mid workout, I start putting the weights away, and I just left, and I never did CrossFit again. Like my brain just started telling me like, this is not good for you. This doesn't feel good. Stop doing it. You know?
What are you attributing that these quitting things to, especially right after ayahuasca?
The best way that I've ever heard it described was from Jim Carrey. Come full circle with Jim Carrey, because he's such a character now, and he's talked
Yeah.
so much about enlightenment and working with
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle and all these things. But he had a quote that he said in a podcast where he said, "Depression is basically your soul saying, I'm done with this fucking character.
Yep.
I cannot do another day. I'm done. I can't do it. I am finished. This character is in the past. I can no longer do it." And I didn't know this at the time, but that's what was happening for me. And the changes came slowly. I mean, it took me years after ayahuasca to leave the music industry. COVID actually helped me leave the music industry because I call the music industry golden handcuffs, right? I owned two houses and I was making great money, and like it was great. But over time, just slowly, year over year, I started changing things. And now, I'm able to collapse time with my clients, and my journey that took me a 12-year self-love journey, I can take people on it in 90 days by giving them really profound transformations because they're skipping all of the trial and error of me looking around. I mean, I went all over the world. I worked with shamans, I worked with coaches, therapists, everything.
I want to get into some of that self-love, or into the self-love conversation, and how you sort of identified that as a need for yourself. But what I also find interesting, just to relate, is I did something kind of similarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as, I mean, very different journey, grew up fundamentalist Mormon, one dad, four moms, 44 brothers and sisters. Became
44?
I'm one of, yeah, I'm one of 45. I have 44 siblings.
Do you know them all?
Aaron, Leroy, Pamela, Clayton, Guy, Mary, Miranda, Michelle, Melanie, David, Calvin. That's me. Jonathan, Joshua. I mean, I could keep going.
Wow.
Just don't ask me to do birthdays. We all grew up in one house.
That's insane. Wow.
Yeah, just a different life. It was my normal. We all get here somehow.
I'm gonna bookmark what you said about your normal, but continue. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I often joke I'm one of the I'm the 11th. Here's a sentence you've never heard. I'm the 11th child, and I'm one of the older kids. But I started to realize it wasn't for me, and I started quitting things. Left that, did the whole ayahuasca thing that was really impactful for me. I did ayahuasca before I ever even got high on marijuana.
Wow.
And then started leaving things that, and I think the way I would attribute to, and I wonder if you relate to this, the things I started quitting, like day job that wasn't good for me, becoming more entrepreneurial, relationship that wasn't aligned, even the city that wasn't aligned, to go from the small town where I was from to now living in New York City, was really about authenticity in a way. Like this wasn't really for me, right? So
100%. Yeah.
I would love to hear how to do self-love, and maybe if we can find some sort of like thread between those two concepts, because I get some sense that that authenticity and self-love are related somehow. And I'm just curious the way you think about it. And I know that, it's only been 7 years that I left what some call a cult, and 3 years that I've been in New York. And so I feel like the journey has been this journey of like leaning into authenticity, leaning into self-love, but sometimes self-love is easier said than done, especially when you do want to be a generous human being, and it feels selfish sometimes if you're giving to yourself before giving to others and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So however you want to take that, like, see if we can find some connection. What do you see as the connection between authenticity, being true to yourself, and self-love, and how do you actually do self-love?
Sure. Self-love and authenticity are interchangeable terms. So like the goal of consciousness, in my opinion, is to become more you, more authentically you. Now, of course, there's always going to be societal conditioning. Like we live in houses, we use indoor plumbing. We have money as a thing, right? There are realities to this reality that are systems that we have to operate within. But ultimately, what you're trying to do is be the most radically, authentically expressed version of you will lead to the most love in your life. Now, before we go any further, I just want to let people know I'm never arguing for objective truth because I don't believe in objective truth. I create truth. You create truth, right? I am the pilot in the driver's seat of this reality that I am creating. You are in the driver's seat of your reality. From where you're sitting, your seat of consciousness, you don't even know that I exist. It's your world. I'm living in it, right? So what's actually happening here, this is Calvin talking to Calvin through a mirror that he has named Justin. There is only one Justin in the entire world. Of the billions of us here, there's only one of me, which means in this interaction, you are going to glean insights about yourself that you cannot get from any other individual on the face of the planet, which is why competition is fake. It's make-believe. It's never been real.
You're speaking my language. Yeah. That's one of my learnings since leaving the religion is that competition is like fake.
100%. Because let's say you're a life coach and I'm a life coach. Well, technically we're competitors, right? No, because your job is to be Calvin. And the people that need Calvin will magnetize to Calvin. They'll hear Justin's message. They might think that I'm great. You know what? That guy seems great. He seems really nice and authentic and cool. There was something, I saw that Calvin guy's video and it just hit me. Something about it. I have to talk to Calvin.
And we're each unique.
Exactly. And the way I describe it to people when they come to me on a call and they say, hey, Justin, I think I want to work with you. I don't have to do sales because I explain to them, not only am I the right coach for you right now, I am the only coach for you. You wouldn't be here on this call with me unless you were magnetized to me for a reason that only I can help you uncover and achieve. That's all that this is. And I don't actually coach anybody else. I coach me. I'm also talking to Justin through a mirror that I call Calvin, right? So if I can help you in some way, and I do that with my clients through unconditionally loving them, I tell all of my clients, you do not have to change for me at all. I fundamentally think that Calvin is perfect exactly as he is right now. But if Calvin is saying to me, Justin, I want to lose a little weight. I want a six pack by next summer. I want to triple my business. Okay, well now I can help you build some blueprints that will help you get to where you want to go, but I don't need you to do it. And you fundamentally, this is the big self-love piece. If you can get to a place where you don't need the six pack, you don't need a bigger company, you don't need a bigger audience for your podcast, but you want it, it doesn't mean your present moment consciousness state is bad or needs to be improved upon. It means that you are ready to experience a unique consciousness experience that is a podcast with 10 million downloads or six-pack abs next summer. One is not better. Your six-pack next year is not a better version of Calvin. It's just a different consciousness experience that you get to have because this is a virtual playground that we live in.
Can we double tap on this? I want to go deeper on this because I think this is so fucking real. I've experienced this. It's where it's such a paradox where you have full acceptance of whatever your reality is. And it becomes sort of magic for creating shit in your life in a way because you're like, no, this is what I authentically want to express or what I authentically desire. I'm good, whether it happens or not. Now, the problem though that I have is I don't always know how to do that with certain things. So for example, let's say I look at, Logan Paul with Impulsive or Joe Rogan, and they got the much bigger podcast than Cultured Boy, right? But I really want to be in those conversations so I can even talk to people I genuinely want to talk to, like, I don't know, Jordan Peterson or a Robert Greene, like people that are my heroes that I think the conversations would be genuinely interesting, that I have questions for, that I take notes on. I want it, but I know I need to grow. But how do I see if I can ask, do you get where I'm going? Like, how do I tell myself that it's okay if I don't how do I tell myself it's okay? And if I never talk to Jordan Peterson or Robert Greene or have my show where I want it to be, even though I'm like, I kind of genuinely do want that though.
Sure. We need to get down to the core of why you want it. Like, what is the
Okay.
incentive, right? I was talking to a incredible entrepreneur the other day. He has a brand doing $50 million a year, incredible company, and he wants to do $100 million a year, right?
Okay.
So he has this thing. Does he need $100 million? No, of course not. He's richer than he could have ever imagined. So what I tried to
Mm.
help him see is you're not after the $100 million. Yeah, I asked him the question, why $100 million? He goes, I don't know. It's kind of like a trophy, like a football player like winning the Super Bowl or something like that. It's just like a trophy. It's something you've created in your mind
Yeah.
that you subconsciously think is going to get you the emotion that you're seeking.
Mm.
$100 million isn't anything. It's a made up number. The entire fiat money system is fraudulent. It's all debt. It's not
Hmm.
real, right? And
Yeah,
then
for
numbers
sure.
in your bank account. So what you're seeking is the emotions you think you'll experience on the other side of $100 million.
Right.
So Calvin asking himself, what would it say about Calvin if Jordan Peterson wanted to talk to Calvin?
Oh, this is good. Can we play with this?
Of course, let's go.
Okay, what would that say? There's a couple things that come up. The first thing that comes up that is there's this genuine curiosity and genuine appreciation that I want to share with people that have made an impact,
Hmm.
and I want to do that. There's this other part of me that is like a what is it? It's like a sort of a legitimacy, a sort of a validation of the
Mm.
journey that I've been on to go from living the cult to then being established in culture, accomplishing a goal, showing that I can,
Hmm.
showing that I can be a human being that can dream and make it happen. And so reaching some of my highest idols
Hmm.
from there would mean something about myself. It's like
For sure.
a form of I think it's a form of legitimacy to myself.
How can a human being not be legitimate?
Well, what some of the people in the audience would know, I wonder how much of this I'm gonna like thank God for therapy and psychedelics. Like this might
Yeah.
be mean I have more to uncover, but I think how can a human being not be legitimate? Well, the way I was raised, um, you had to do a lot to be considered legitimate, to even have the chance at legitimacy. My grandmother, who was one of the kindest, nicest people on the planet, I remember when she passed, I wasn't there, but I heard from people that were that some of her last words were like, I hope I was good enough. I hope I was good
Mhm.
enough. I was good
Yeah.
enough. And so I think already as human beings, we have that maybe insecurity if we are good enough. And I think there's something there that even though I've left the religious structure, that maybe there's something there. It's like maybe I'm not legitimate unless I, you know, in fundamentalist Mormonism, it's getting to the celestial kingdom, which is the highest heaven, but I don't
Mhm.
have that structure anymore. So
Yeah.
now I'm still a dreamer, but instead of the celestial kingdom, my celestial kingdom is the highest goal I can imagine, which is talking to the people like that. That's just one example, but like whatever I can think of as my highest aim,
Mhm.
achieving my highest aim is how I get to legitimacy, is how I get
Sure.
to what you just was. What was the word you used? How do you not become or how are you not a legitimate human or
How is a
something?
human not legitimate? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I have the underlying assumption with myself that I have to do something in order to be legitimate.
Yeah. So now let's play with terms, right? So we use the term legitimate. You said your grandmother's last words were, I hope I was good enough, right? So I want to be legitimate. I want to be good enough. Now, if we know the primary driver, I believe there are two main drivers for humans, all of human existence. One, more love. Two, fear of loss of love.
Mm,
And you could tell me any goal you have, anything you're afraid of, anything you want to do, any desire you have, and we can go down that individual hallway. And the end of that hallway will be a wall that says love. Every
mm,
single one. It's always love. So
yeah.
when we circle back to the beginning of the conversation where I said mine was a journey of unconditional self love, do you think if you get more love because you did something that was legitimate, which is also completely subjective, is it fair to say that that's conditional or unconditional love?
It's definitely conditional.
Yes. And for your grandma to say, I really hope I was good enough, does that sound like conditional or unconditional?
It was sadly also conditional.
100%. Nearly everything that we are programmed to do, want, think, desire in this current human reality is conditional. And this is why my work started with metabolic health and people losing weight. And a lot of what got me down this journey was I realized that every single person who came to me obese with more than 30 pounds to lose had a deep, 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 deep self-loathing that they couldn't put their finger on.
Yeah.
So,
Self-loathing. And I think for me is like self-judgment. Like if I'm not making progress towards the thing.
exactly. So I have all of my, especially my male clients that are high net worth, I have an exercise I walk them through called Who Am I If?
Okay.
And I sat with this and journaled on it for weeks. Who am I if I'm not handsome? Who am I if I can't play the piano? Who am I if I have $0 in my bank account and no businesses? Who am I if I launch a podcast and I get 0 listeners for the first year? Who am I if all these things are true?
All the things you fear. Who am I if I don't get my six pack by next summer? Who am I
Exactly.
if I never talk to my idols? Who am I if my show doesn't reach the heights that I want it to? Who am I if I'm not working for myself? Who am I if I'm not in
Yes.
the relationships I want to be?
Yes. And
Okay.
now, when we speak to the woo woo idea of manifestation and you creating the reality that you want, if you believe you are this version, version A of Calvin, and there is version B, future version of Calvin, that is legitimate and worthy of speaking to Jordan Peterson, are you operating right now in the consciousness and frequency of Calvin A or Calvin B?
I mean, there's a part of me that's like, I want to be that version of me, like the future me that is,
Sure.
but it does feel like a lack, like I'm reaching.
Exactly. Not legitimate enough, not good
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
Your core belief right now is that you are not good enough to talk to Jordan Peterson. You have a
Yeah.
lot, you literally said, I have a lot of growing, I have a lot of work to do before I can talk to another regular ass human being. Sure, his
Mm.
name is Jordan Peterson. He has millions of downloads. He's been on Joe Rogan, yada, yada, yada. He's a normal dude. He just got addicted. He was addicted to prescription medications and had a huge problem and depression. He has problems just like any other human being. He's not better than
Yeah.
you. He's
Yeah.
not more legitimate than you. He's not good enough
Mm.
while you're not good enough. That's not a real thing. But as
Mm.
long as you're putting separation between current you and that goal remains separated. It remains in a different reality that's not the reality you live in.
So how, this is fascinating because I mean that resonates fucking big time. Because again, with everything that I've done, getting to New York or anything, it's like I was in a place where I was legitimately detached, and it was okay one way or the other. So how do you actually? How do I do this? Like, how do I let go? I guess, or and again, there's a piece of it that just came up when I'm thinking of letting go of it that feels scary to let go
Of course.
because it's probably connects to what you're saying, the two drivers. You either want love or you want to make sure that you're not losing it.
Mhm.
And there's a piece of me, it's like, no, but that really matters to me. If I let go of it, like that's going to mean I don't get it. Right.
Could it be that letting go of it is the way that you get it? Because if I can jump in, here's what you're
Yeah.
not actually letting go of. I'm not asking you to let go of the dream. I'm
Yeah.
asking you to let go of the fact that you don't think you're good enough for the dream. And I think
Mm,
part of the reason you came
okay.
to my Instagram was I shared that video that blew up, did over 1 million views of me saying the more famous your favorite influencer is, the more traumatized they probably are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That was my
This is
first piece
the
of content I've seen. Yeah.
this is the Alex Hormozy equation, right? Like
Yep.
if you go back and listen to his interviews, his dad was disappointed in him. He was a screw up. He was never good enough.
Yep.
He wanted to prove something to his dad. So now he's just carrying the same trauma his dad gave him of him never being good enough. At 10 million, it wasn't good enough. At 50 million, it wasn't good enough. At 100 million, it wasn't good enough. He just went live on YouTube for 2 days and sold $100 million on an offer. It's like he broke a Guinness Book of World Records for most money earned on a
106
live.
mil. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's bananas.
Do you think that he's good enough now in his own mind?
It's a good freaking question because he doesn't look like he's always happy. He doesn't look
Now
that happy.
he's just moved the goalpost. The goalpost will get further and further and further, and he will grind his life away trying to prove something to his dad, who is ultimately self because it's the mirror, right? He hasn't healed his past traumas. So he's trying to prove that he is better than that version of self. So the piece that I'm asking you to let go of is in your mind, you're looking at it like I'm letting go of a dream of talking to Jordan Peterson. No. I'm telling you to let go of the idea that you not feeling good enough is going to be the ambition that makes you grow and drive to get to becoming that person.
Got it.
It's the same with super stressed entrepreneurs, and I tell them to try to meditate, and they're like, "Well, I don't want to meditate because like when I'm chaotic, I'm doing my best work." Like they literally think that by pausing and sitting with themselves, they're going to lose ground on this thing, this hamster wheel that they're constantly chasing, right? So that when you say, "I don't want to let go of that because I really want that," but you have a gap between Calvin A and Calvin B, the version of Calvin that's good enough to talk to Jordan Peterson and the version that isn't, you're still going to be approaching your goal and desire from a place of not being good enough.
That's right.
That makes sense?
Yeah. And Jordan Peterson is just a good placeholder. This can be used with everything, with health and relationship and everything else. And the other thing that just rings true about this is something that I've learned in life, just even in the last year, that feels so counterintuitive because I came into this whole I'm in content and sort of entertainment and stuff right now. Like I'm kind of doing the opposite journey. So I'm doing more in entertainment, but I was like more in the entrepreneurial side for a while, online business, all the hustle culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what's really bananas to me is I've been really living by this, there's like this a couple core principles. One of them is like slow is smooth, smooth is fast, not taking it too fast, like just lean into what feels true. And the other one is like nothing great has to be forced.
100%.
And things have felt way better by not forcing. I think I still have some of these attachments though, to things. And so to me, it's easier said than done still. Like I don't know if it's fully embodied, just name the next goal. Like I really need this thing, or I really want this thing to like, but the thing that I think really does help actually for anybody else listening for the thing they want, because my Jordan Peterson is there, they're moving to a new city or they're moving to something else. But what I hear you saying is there's really, you didn't say these words, but it feels like you're getting to self-love by removing the made-up barriers that you're either consciously or subconsciously putting in the way of self-love. Is that fair?
Yeah. And the new age term for it, or the psychological term for it, would be blockages. People call them blockages. What are my blockages to wealth? What are my blockages to weight loss? My blockages to love, right? And those are the things that we want to tease apart. And it helps to go back in time and like explore what happened when we were kids and what our programming was. And, a lot of times, not to the extent that you were in your situation, but even when I had a client whose dad was a pastor, just born again Christian, like evangelical Christian. And no matter what he did, and no matter what he did in the years that I worked with him, he was always doing something wrong in his own mind. And I'm like, well, from the time you were a child, you were taught that there was a man watching your every move, and you are a sinner. You were born a sinner,
born broken.
And there is nothing you can do about it, and you will always be a sinner. And you are so lucky that this guy loves you when you're such a mess. You're an absolute catastrophe, and he still loves you. And it seems, and it's taught to us. I was also brought up born again Christian, and it's taught to us in this way of like, we're so lucky to get this love,
Yeah, we had so many of those. We were so lucky that we got to be born in the one true church with the one true group of men that had the God's authority to to like without them, like the world would have probably ended and stuff like that.
100%.
Okay,
And
so it sounds like what a lot of it is like, because what I want to start looking for is like things that anybody listening can find ways of exploring,
yeah,
of getting to the self love. And it sounds like a good starting point is, well, where are your blockages?
yes. And we can start
letting
really
go.
small with tactics, right?
Yeah.
Because I told you I was going to bookmark this because you said earlier that it was your normal to be in a house with 44 other people, or 47 other people, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that was your new normal. So there's a great David Foster Wallace quote. I have a neon sign in my house downstairs. It's cursive writing neon that says, "What's water?" Are you familiar with the "What's water"?
Totally. The David Foster Wallace speech.
Exactly. Yeah. And for listeners that don't know, it's basically there's an old man fish swimming in the ocean and he swims by two young fish and he says, "Hey, boys, how's the water?" and swims away. And the two fish look at each other and they go, "What's water?"
Yeah.
So
I
this
love
is really,
this.
you were living in water that you couldn't see, which is your normal.
Totally.
There
Totally.
was a really successful podcast, had millions and millions of downloads, where there was a woman who had escaped North Korea that was on Joe Rogan. Do you remember
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Familiar with her. Yeah.
And she was saying in the classrooms when there are children in public school in North Korea, there are posters on the wall, these giant monsters with big noses and gnarly teeth. And they say that that's what Americans are, and they will eat you. They teach
Mm,
children these monsters in the West will eat you. You are so lucky to be here within these walls, the confines of North Korea, where we protect you and we give you food and we teach you and we protect you from the monsters outside the walls.
yep.
Their "what's water" was that. That's their
Yep.
version of normal.
Yep.
So, one of the fastest ways to move into tactics for these things is to break your everyday routines wherever you can. I had a middle-aged mom that I was working with. I believe she was in Minnesota, I want to say, and it was the middle of winter. And she's just looping on these calls. She's telling me the same stories over and over. I can't get healthy because of this. It's because of my kids, because I don't have time, because I blah, 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 blah. Mid-call, I was like, she had told me about the surrounding area where she lived. And I was like, at some point today, you were going to go in your backyard and you were going to jump into the river. And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, it's like a waist-high river. I'm like, go out in your backyard, take your clothes off, jump in the river, stay there for 30 seconds, and then just come back in the house. Tell me how you feel. She sent me a voice memo on WhatsApp that was like, "I feel amazing. I can't believe I did this. Oh my God, I've never felt so alive." She's just like going on this like rant. And it's like, you have to just break. These are mental loops where we have a mental operating system. Like my MacBook here has an operating system. And there are people that come in and they install viruses in our operating system that cause our computer to malfunction. And we can't figure out why. We're stuck. We're stuck. Why is this same browser tab open and close and open and close and open and close? No matter what I do, this stupid browser tab won't stop popping open, right? So I had another friend, amazing shaman and coach in Norway who literally only worked with billionaires. And he was like, sometimes I will have these guys just brush their teeth with their non-dominant hand because they got so, like, speaking of Tim Ferriss, right? Like I used to hyper optimize everything and my calendar was scheduled to the 15-minute block and I had my daily routine and all this stuff. He's like, literally just having their brain pause for a second because, oh wait, my coach Kim told me to brush my teeth with my left hand. This feels weird. And it just forces their brain to get out of that loop. And then we can get to places where just, I call it self-love bicep curls. All of my clients are given custom programming based on what they need, where we do self-love daily reps. We're getting in reps of self-love. They'll say, "Oh, Justin, you had me say I love you in the mirror, but like, does it even do anything? Like, I don't believe it. I feel weird. I feel uncomfortable. Like, talking to myself in the mirror feels so weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, the first time you do a bicep curl, it feels weird too. But you keep doing it because you want bigger biceps. Or you keep doing crunches because you want six-pack abs, right? You don't do crunches on Monday in October and then July comes and you never did another day of crunches. And July comes and you're like, so weird. Why didn't I get a six-pack? I don't understand. It doesn't work, you know? So self-love should be unconditional. But in the beginning, it's like a character in a video game, like their health meter. We increase the self-love meter by making commitments to self and keeping them. That's it. And I tell people to meet themselves where they are because this is like the universal joke of New Year's resolutions, right? Like January 1st, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to lift. I'm going to do cardio. I'm going to eat 1,200 calories a day. I'm going to do this thing. And everyone quits 3 weeks in.
Yeah. An insanely big commitment.
And what you've done there is you made a commitment to self that you knew you were going to fail and you failed it. and you get to tell your story, the solidified ego story that you're not good enough, you're someone who always fails, no matter what you try, it doesn't work, right? So it's like when people come to me and they've been overweight and obese for 30 years, it's like, what do you think is really going on there? Is it that every single piece of dietary advice on the planet just doesn't work? Or is it more like the common denominator there is self?
Yeah. And what you're saying is the way to sort of break the pattern and get into the bicep curl of self-love is making these commitments to self that you can keep. Can you give some examples of what we're talking about just for anybody listening? It's like what you could try.
My favorite one is if someone's like a lot of people are coming to me with autoimmune conditions, type 2 diabetes, they have 50 plus pounds to lose, significantly overweight people, and their health is in a bad spot to where it's like life threatening. It's a problem, you know? So they'll want to say, okay, Justin, I want to do your plan. I want to go all in. I'm only going to eat off your foods list. I'm going to hit my macros every day. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to do all these things. I'm like, at the end of the self-love, we have a daily mirror work. That's the self-love practice. And I can walk it through you right now, walk through it for you right now.
Please.
10 times out loud, looking yourself in the eyes, you say, I love you. Out loud, try to mean it as much as you can. It's going to feel weird at first. Keep doing it. From there, we move into 5 things that are, I'm proud of you for. And it has to be 5 different things. Then you move into, I forgive you for. 5 different things that you're ready to let go of. The last piece of mirror work is 5 statements of, I commit to you that. And you're making commitments to self. And I pull it back to make it as simple as possible by saying, listen, if you're someone who's been eating ultra processed foods for your entire life and you've been sedentary and you've never focused on your health, you never felt, like you loved yourself enough to give yourself that, then it could literally be you looking in the mirror and saying, I commit to you that every morning for the next 3 days, I will start my day with a glass of filtered water.
Something totally doable.
Completely doable. And then day 3, you celebrate. My third glass of water. I did it. I drank my 3rd glass of water 3 days in a row. This is amazing, right? And I don't care how silly or kindergarten or preschool that feels. You made a commitment to yourself, and that's amazing. And then you can say, I commit to you that every day for the next 7 days, I'm going to drink a glass of filtered water. Now, by this logic, you could just do nothing but a drink water commitment for the first 6 months and change nothing else about your life. But you will start to see your life change in ways that have nothing to do with the water. The problem is we're all programmed for 21-day boot camps, 3-day detox, 30-day fitness
75
plan.
days.
Exactly. So you want to do everything right now and make it as hard as possible and create the most friction and create the highest likelihood of you failing at the commitment that you made to yourself.
Before we move, while we're still on this, what do you do when on day 2 of drinking water, you kind of fuck it up somehow?
The very next time you get in the mirror, you have 5 statements of, I forgive you for.
Okay.
There it is. I forgive you for not keeping your commitment of drinking water. I forgive you for choosing something that was beyond our capabilities right now. And I commit to you that my commitments going forward will be within reach because I want you to know I love you. When you start to speak to yourself this way, it changes everything.
I just want to double down on it. You're so fucking right. Like that this has been one of the things that has legitimately changed my life more than anything. Since leaving the religion is developing better self-talk. I listened to Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey's book. Have you read that?
I haven't heard it yet. I've heard it's great.
So good. But there's something in the book. It's not even a main point to the book. But I just noticed how he talked to himself was so gentle and so kind, but also like, hey, don't bullshit yourself right here, McConaughey. But it was like really like, don't half-ass it, but hey, you got this. I forgive you. Like some of the lines you're saying. And mine was like, you're going to fuck up if you don't do this. You're not going to make, you're never going to break out. You're going to be a loser. You're never going to amount to anything if you don't do X, Y, and Z. Like, get out of bed, you lazy turd. It's 4:30, all the optimization stuff as well. And I committed after reading that book that I was like, I want to change the way I'm talking to myself because I don't think it's helpful. And the way I started was actually imagining that my inner dialogue was because I liked Matthew McConaughey's so much. I was like, I'm just going to borrow that. I'm going to have a Matthew McConaughey sounding voice. And I would literally journal what I would rather it sound like.
Yeah.
his sort of accent and everything, and it literally helped. So I'm just hearing you say that, like, but I haven't gone this deep with it though. I really like this. I've written it down here, especially like the I forgive you for, like,
Yeah.
just playing devil's advocate on anybody, because I know I do have some people that listen to my show that have also come from high control
Mhm.
stuff. What would you say to somebody that's like they're afraid of letting themselves off the hook, and forgiveness sort of feels like it's letting them off the hook, and therefore they're, I don't know, gonna slip down even further because they forgave themselves for their transgression to themselves. Like,
Sure.
breaking a promise to myself isn't okay.
Yeah, because you're still programmed for conditional love, right? Like actual, like increasing self-love can never lead you down a worse path. It truly can't, because you'd be lying to yourself. You'd be lying to yourself in the mirror and you'll feel it, right? And this is the thing, nobody can
Yeah.
hold you accountable to this but you. Like it's the same way you said
Yep.
you adopted McConaughey's voice. It's because McConaughey is your mirror. You are Matthew McConaughey.
Mm.
There is no separation between you and I, me and Matthew, you and Matthew, right? I did the same thing when I journal. I call myself Jay. I don't know where it came from, but I just be
Yep.
like, mate, you got this, Jay. I'm so proud of you,
Yep.
Jay. I love
Yep.
you, Jay. You know, all my journaling, it
Mm-hmm.
was like I adopted an alter ego. So what I say to those people is just try it. See what
Mm.
happens. See if adopting this really sends you down a spiral rabbit hole where you start doing really bad things and hurting people and being mean to yourself and being mean to others because you forgave yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And
On the
and then
flip
the
side,
other question though is like
mm,
deserving, this idea of deserving, right? So what do you think you deserve then? If you don't deserve forgiveness, what is it that you deserve since you made mistakes in the past that you don't want to forgive yourself for? What do you think is righteous here? What's the thing you think you should get? Because a lot of these people are probably thinking hellfire and brimstone, which is how we were
totally.
brought up,
Yep.
you know? But
Yeah.
ultimately, the entire message of Christianity is forgiveness. It always has been. It's forgiveness and
Totally.
it's love. So
Yep.
why is Jesus able to forgive you, but you're not able to forgive yourself? Why?
Yeah.
Now, this is where
Yeah.
I get into quote unquote blasphemous territory that may be difficult for some
Let's
of
let's get it.
your
Let's get blasphemous.
I am God.
Okay.
I create this entire thing. This is my entire reality is a reflexive holosphere that is my internal state being mirrored back to me. And God doesn't have limitations, right? You try to walk on water and you have doubt for a second and you fall through. And he says, "You fool, ye of little faith. Have the faith of a mustard seed, command that mountain to move. It will hurl itself into the river." Whatever all these lines are, right? Look under a rock,
Mm-hmm.
God is there. Look behind the tree, God is there. I am the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. The message has been here staring us in the face the whole time. And there's a reason why Jesus was killed, right? You have to remember when you go back into the story, if you really are like living by born again Christian virtues of like Jesus died on the cross for our sins and all these things, he's in the book, he's a hero. At the time, he was a villain, right? And in my opinion, he was teaching people that the power of God is within self. You don't need
Totally.
pharaohs. You don't need big giant
Yep.
buildings that are $100 million. You don't need fancy microphones and PowerPoint presentations and $100,000 band rig to
Yep.
sing hymns and tithe and all. You don't need. It's within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. I
You
take
just
that
hit
as
the
far as
goosebumps.
yeah.
I
I
got
take
the
that as
goosebumps
far
on
as
that.
the present moment right now. We are in heaven and we are in hell and we decide. It's the
Mm.
same I talked to you about ego and shadow. When you take ego and shadow to the farthest part that people will also think is blasphemous here, if this Satan fella is such a problem, causes all the world suffering and is just horrible, is the worst thing ever, but God is the most powerful, why does God not just destroy Satan?
Yeah. What's the
What's the
answer
answer?
is,
Do you know?
um, honestly, this is I don't, and it's one of the things that I've always struggled with, because it sort of feels to me is that, like, I'm still on the journey of like what is real, and it feels like I've definitely gotten more spiritual, and God feels realer now than it has. But the idea of Satan has never fully resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea of there being like this hell damnation thing. And I know that's a blasphemous thing to say. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know for sure if there's a God. It feels like there is, but it feels true to me that the Satan thing feels completely made up to
Yeah.
me.
So a different perspective I'll give you on it
Please.
is the reason why God does not destroy the devil is because God is the devil.
Oh, there we go.
It's parts work.
Okay. It's like the shadow or whatever.
Exactly. So when you start to look at the Bible through the
Oh,
lens of a story about not real human people walking the earth, but man's psyche and the different parts
yeah.
of man's psyche. This is the reason
Right.
why totally normal, seemingly wonderful people who loved their families and went home to their wife every night were able to run gas chambers at Auschwitz. How did people
Right.
become Nazis? Because we all have the capability of doing that. If somebody breaks in my
Right.
house right now and goes after my little girl, I'm going to kill that person.
100%.
Period. I'm not even
Yeah,
going to
it's in
think
you.
about it. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's in
Yep.
me. There's a
Yep.
monster in me. There's Satan in me. There's God in me, which also is
Okay.
I'm choosing in every moment if this present moment, which is infinity, which is eternity, is heaven or hell. I'm choosing.
Yeah.
So when I was drunk 6 nights a week on stage and getting fake love from people who don't know me, and I'm playing these songs, and I'm going home by myself with no relationship, and I'm drunk again, I'm like, man, this fucking sucks. I don't think I like this. Blah blah blah. Like at any moment, I could have said, I'm done with music. I'm out. I'm gonna change. I don't like how this feels. I'm gonna change something.
Mm.
Right. So now you have people that are staying, and I always say this about like because I work with 85% women when it's metabolic stuff. So many of them are overweight and in horrible marriages, emotionally abused, right?
Mm.
But it's a mirror. The first time someone abuses you, they are your abuser. When you keep coming back over and over and over and over and allowing it, you are your abuser. You hold the keys to your own prison cell. You're creating hell on
Mm.
earth.
Mm.
So when
That's
people
so
realize
fucking
this,
huge.
exactly. And we all we're trying to do is love our little Satan guy too. Hey, listen, I
Yeah,
hear
love
you.
him too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have these urges, you want to do these bad things, you want to rebel, people hurt you, and now you want to hurt other people, hurt people, hurt people. I feel you, but I love you and you're perfect as you are. Thank you for trying to protect
Mm.
me. But we don't need that now. We're safe. We don't need to hurt other people. We only allow people in our life who love us. I don't have any of my friends from Nashville when I was a drunk. I'm not friends with any of them anymore. They
Mm-hmm.
were party drinking friends. They weren't great for me. My friends now love me unconditionally. They don't care. I spent 6 years doing nothing but building intentional community and being as radically authentic as I could be, which is why I ended up at places like Burning Man. And Burning Man is demonic. For sure, you can find demonic corners of Burning Man. But for us, it was 10 of our closest friends dancing on Playa and crying because we love each other so much. I didn't even know I could
Yeah.
experience this profundity of love. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So good. I'm actually curious, just to take the flip side of the, coming from conditional to
Hmm.
then unconditional. Do you have any examples or even if it's not a specific client or person, like I'm just curious about some of the changes you see in a human being.
Yeah.
You can use yourself or clients when they are actually walking this path of recognizing that they have become their own abuser, let's say, in a way of allowing things happening, or for myself, abusing myself for saying, unless I get the proverbial Jordan Peterson or whatever the goal is, I'm not good enough and stuff like
Sure.
that. But they actually start to have the forgiveness to self, having the unconditional love. What sort of lifestyle, life person, like the way they show up to the world, what sort of changes are you noticing?
The biggest goal that we're always seeking is more love, right? So everything that I'm doing is trying to make the mirror change its reflection, right? So this happens a lot with clients that are trying to eat healthy. They'll say something like, "Oh, well, I would eat healthy, but my husband keeps bringing home Domino's pizza and he sabotages me, and then I just end up eating the pizza and like it's his fault." Well, he brought home Domino's pizza. That doesn't mean you have to eat it, right? So like you're doing that to self. Now, there are so many people that are afraid of getting healthy, afraid of setting boundaries, afraid of saying, "Hey, friend, I don't like when you talk to me like that. Like you make little jokes about me and we call it ball busting. I don't like it. Please don't do that anymore." Right? And they're afraid to do these things. So they're being dishonest. So what's
Mm,
happening is most people are lying in all of their everyday interactions and they're saying yes to things that are out of alignment with them. So
okay.
once you
Therefore, they're not being
start
authentic to themselves fully.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So once I can get people to start loving themselves and speaking to themselves in this way, speaking to themselves in the mirror every day, then it becomes, okay, I'm making positive nutrition choices because I love myself. And if I know that ultra
Mm,
processed junk is killing my cells, why would I poison myself every day? And then, okay, I don't like how my husband's speaking to me, but I've never actually told him that I don't like the way that he speaks to me because I didn't want to rock the boat. Then I actually teach them communication skills of how to sit down with their partner and set healthy boundaries and all these things.
mhm.
And the fear is if I'm more authentically myself, people are going to leave me. They're not going to like me. I'm going to lose love, fear of loss of love.
I have to give you an example, a real life
Sure.
example that just happened on this. So I have this person that is becoming a good friend that actually came from work I've done on the show. And I actually did a film, went to the Middle East, did a documentary on Israel,
Whoa.
Palestine. And so we've been interacting a lot through WhatsApp. And he would send me these really long messages.
Mm.
And at first it was okay but when I'm busy, it was like too much. But I was like, it started to get a little annoying to me.
Yeah.
But what,
Yeah.
what really bothered me is like, I actually liked that we had this connection and that we were collaborating and stuff like that. And but I was afraid to tell him what was a good way to communicate to me, because then I was afraid of losing the connection.
Yeah.
But then I just sort of build up enough courage and be like, and I finally just like, hey, after he sent me, like, I came back and there's a long message. Look, I want to keep talking. And the way I process information is it's better if it's sort of a dance where you say something and I can acknowledge it. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
telling you because I want to keep engaging. He was so happy that I said a way to engage with me, like the fear that I had. And
Yeah.
our interactions are so enjoyable right now. Like,
It is.
instead of me feeling like a lot of work that I have to do to like catch up and like respond, and then like literally just being like, this works better for me. Like I want it, like when communication is more of a dance style. And I was just so afraid that I was gonna have to, ignore it or break it off, but just sort of like standing up for myself in a way. And it actually was good for both of us to have that
Yeah.
conversation.
Well, and think about what you were saying. Because I could feel it in your energy where I'm like, man, this is actually like getting kind of annoying, right? It's like you can end up building resentment towards someone that doesn't know they're annoying you.
Right.
There is zero
Totally.
intention for them.
Yep.
They're not trying to annoy you.
Yeah. He was
Let's
just
send
engaging
Calvin
with
long
me.
ass messages.
Yeah.
I'm going to annoy him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course it's like if I'm with my partner Megan and I'm doing something that really annoys her and makes her feel bad, I don't want her to start building up resentment. So we have a rule in our relationship, like we bring things to each other when it's a 2 out of 10. Not a 6 out of
There we go.
10, not an 8 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10. You bring it when it's a 2. Because this is
That's
why
so good.
divorce happens, is people build
Yep.
this resentment over decades. And then by the time they're in therapy, they're just screaming at each other and they just, well, you've been doing this to me and they're like, what are you talking about? I've been doing, I'm just being me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't speak up. And I teach all my clients, withholding is lying. It's the same thing.
Dude, you've been saying a few triggering things on that. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, like if you're in a relationship, yeah, why withhold? Like put everything out on the table. If it's real for you, share it.
100%. And the thing is, so you were asking about like tangible results, right?
Yeah.
We can talk about, I mean, I've had countless clients lose over 100 pounds, reverse type 2 diabetes, get off all their
Whoa.
medications. I've had clients triple their business in 6 months. Like we've done anything you can think of. I worked with professional athletes, cage fighters in the UFC, right? Like anyone you can
Nice.
think of. So and there are those tangible ROIs, but it all comes from this place of self-love because everyone that is living in victimhood wants the rest of the world to change. If my husband were
Totally.
different, I could be this. If my brother wasn't always busting my balls, I could do this. If my mom wasn't always riding me about how to raise my kids, we'd have a better relationship. It's like the only thing you can change is yourself. So
Yep.
what we're looking for in this, what I call the reflexive holosphere, and again, is not objective truth. It's just like, I don't think about it, is it true? I think about it, is it useful?
Yep.
So if somebody adopts what I'm saying on this podcast and they start living this way and they start getting more love and positive encouragement from the mirror, it doesn't matter if it's objectively true. It's improving your life and moving you the direction you want to go. So a lot of times I'll have these, like, especially women, I'll have them say, listen, I'm going to level with you because I have scaled 4 businesses and I've made millions of dollars and I was a professional musician and I can deadlift and jujitsu and traveled the world and all the things, right? I wake up some mornings and I think I am a total loser. Today, now at 39, with all of the self-love, and I go, my businesses aren't growing fast enough, and like I gained 3% body fat this month. I can't even see my abs. I'm fucking chubby, blah, blah. And I catch it and I go, okay, mirror. Where is the mirror? And I walk straight up to my partner and I say, I need love. And she goes, okay, what do you need? And I tell her exactly what I need. This is the thing of like wanting your partner to read your mind. So she knows we have a partners out there, adopt this, trust me. Before we go into any festival, concert, social setting, around the house, whatever, we have this thing, we pause, we take a couple breaths, and I start and I say, Megan, what do we do when we're having a hard time? And she says, ask for love. And then she says, Justin, what do we do when we're having a hard time? And I say, ask for love. I could literally cry right now talking about it because it absolutely transformed my life. This will change your life. So in those moments, I might come up in the morning over coffee and say, I just need you to tell me that you think that I'm handsome and that you're attracted to me and you're so glad that I'm your partner. We call it morning reassurances, right? Reassurances is another practice we can do that's structured. But when I'm feeling that low, I just go to, so daily mirror work, you talking to yourself in the mirror, that's the kindergarten version of what all of reality is. I'm doing mirror work right now. I'm speaking to Justin through the mirror called Calvin. And the way that I show up for you, if I'm here and I know that Calvin is perfect and I love Calvin exactly as he is, energetically, how do I think Calvin's going to treat me?
Totally, with love too.
What are the odds of you getting on this and being like, you're a fucking asshole?
Totally.
It's not going to happen.
This is so freaking huge.
It's massive.
So fucking huge. Yeah.
If you can treat your reality like a mirror and every single person around you is you and they want you to love them, it will change everything. And what you'll start to see is the mirror changing. And even when I have partners bringing big grievances to their partners and saying, I really need to talk to you about this thing, when we can approach it from a place of love, the person's usually like, you know what? I'm so glad you said that. I've been thinking a lot about this. I didn't know how to bring it up with you. And it's always this connection. Just come together. It's really powerful.
I want to share something that you just made me think of when you are talking about going to Megan and saying, this is the love that I need. There's sort of this conscious YouTube little micro community bubbling up. Content has been also in this same type of fast, over optimized, do it for the algorithm. And there's this small community that I've sort of fallen into of like people that want to create from the soul, from authenticity, from expression. And a few weeks ago, we were at this little retreat together to talk about YouTube and content, but we also did some very human activities like breath work, like dancing, like things that you're like, how are we doing this for a YouTube retreat? But it was all for YouTube. And we did these things. But one of the things we did, there was a guy there that did this ancient practice around, he got it from, I don't know what tribe, but some Native American tribe, where we did several things where, yes, we danced and did stuff like that, but we stood in the circle and we let people witness us. And so if they wanted to say something positive to us, like an affirming thing, we did. And I went into the center and I absolutely just sobbed. It was such a deep experience to be so validated and so seen and reflected and loved back. But the main point I wanted to share of this entire thing is it's just so different than the way society is set up right now. Is he said, based on this tradition, when someone in the tribe did something antisocial or did something wrong, hurt somebody, stole somebody, the whole community would get together, not to shame, not to throw tomatoes, not to put in the jail, but to do what you did with Megan and what they did with me is like, this person needs love, and they would love that. And it's touching me just even reflecting on it, because I think it's so interesting. It's so interesting. Like everything that you do in life, the way that you show up in a conversation, it can be from that place. Like, why are you eating this? Because I love myself. Why are you talking to this person? Because I love myself. Why do you live where you live? Because I love myself. Why are you in the relationships that you're in? Because I love myself. Why did you set that boundary? Because I love myself. Why do you do the work you do? Because I love myself. Like that is so fucking empowering.
Bingo. And I don't know how many people you've talked to about making nutrition changes, but you tend to be the average of the people that you spend the most time with. So usually I'll be dealing with people who have been overweight for a long time. And one of the biggest fears they have about making food changes is their friends and family are going to comment. When they're at a restaurant and they say they don't want a cocktail, oh, come on, just want what? Or like they're not eating the bread basket and their family members are, so now their family members feel bad. They get to this place where I've literally had people write me emails asking me if I can teach them how to debate their family members. And
Mm.
I'm like, oh, it's just, it misses the point so drastically
Yep.
because you don't have to explain yourself to others. Adults
Yeah.
act, children explain themselves.
Yep.
So the reason I don't have any conflict in my family or with my friends, I don't eat seed oils, I don't eat bread, all these things, right? So I just order what I order. Oh, why are you ordering that? I could say because I love myself or just I want this.
Totally.
The
Totally.
conversation ends there. You don't
You're
need
so
to
right.
debate. And you read an article on BuzzFeed that carbs were good, and my article says
Mm-hmm.
carbs are bad, and I'm a
You're
carnivore.
wrong.
Blah, blah. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, you have to make like I don't need to make someone else wrong to
Yep.
know that I'm right for
Yep.
me.
For you. That's so huge.
That's it.
Sort of
And if
blending in
I'm
a little
trying
bit
to
of Mel
make
Robbins,
them,
let them theory in there.
yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to
Yeah.
debate somebody and convince them that they're wrong and I'm right, am I giving the mirror love? No, I'm trying
No,
to humiliate the mirror.
that's
That's
right.
not a way to get anything done.
That is such a helpful concept with just approaching life, with everything, with everyone,
Yeah,
with conflict around the world. Like that you're treating the mirror kind of bad. Like what are you
totally.
expecting? Like what are you putting out there? How can you give love to that?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. This is amazing. Let's see if we can come in for sort of a landing here.
sure.
Um, I can see why you connect authenticity to self-love now. Like, because you're the way I've also looked at authenticity is the truer you are to yourself, you have like more potency. There's more
Yes.
power there. Why would you want to be authentic? Because I love myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and real quick on that part, if you're not authentic, you are robbing yourself of unconditional love.
mm,
Because let's say like I can only show up, I meet you, I'm going to give you information. You're trusting that what I'm telling you is the truth. So as long as I'm being authentic, I'm going to get an authentic response from you. So if we have this conversation and you leave this podcast and you go, man, I love that dude. He's great. But the whole time I was pretending or performing or faking, then you might love me and I can't feel it.
yeah, that's
Because a
right.
caricature of myself that I put forward is getting the love and it never touches me. That was what I
Mm,
learned in the music industry. That was when love hit
mm,
me. Is I realized I put on this Iron Man suit and I get on stage and it doesn't matter what I went through that day. I could be deeply depressed and I'm like, "What's up, Nashville? Who's having a good time? Let's go!" And everybody loves me.
mm.
But I don't feel any of that love
Yeah,
because I'm playing make believe.
that's right.
So I'm robbing myself of unconditional love.
This is so powerful. Hey, you have great hair. If I start loving myself, can
Thanks,
I
man.
get, am I gonna, could that come back too? What do I gotta
Maybe.
do there? Let
How
me
strong
see.
are your visualizations, bro?
Exactly. Um, Everybody follow Justin, by the way. Your Instagram is Justin Nault, right?
Yep, at Justin
Everybody's
Nault official.
got to check out Justin's stuff. He's dropping wisdom like this every single day over on his IG.
Mm.
So if you got something deep here, it's good to have, you know, based on by the same token, we we have some control over our algorithm. We can change our algorithm to be something that, why do I follow an account like Justin or Mel Robbins or whatever?
Mhm.
Because I love myself. Like if you don't like something,
Yes.
don't kill don't poison yourself. Like follow things that reinforce the love, like that
Yes.
reinforce the feeling good about yourself. Um, with that said, I want to see if there's something that, um, I want to see if we can come up with some sort of we gave this exercise of the mirror
Mhm.
of talking to yourself. Is there anything else that we could come up with that's super small for anybody listening today that I can try tonight or tomorrow morning that's
Sure.
just leaning into, okay, I really, really want to lean into this and actually make this my default because
Yeah.
as a human being, like there's things I want to do, but I don't want to do it the way I used to 5 or 10 years ago, where I have to do it to get the thing. I'm like, no, I love myself. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think that's just the authentic thing of what I care about. And I want to express it. And I do it because I love myself and I love others too. That's what I want. And so I really want to lean into this, making the love as the default, no matter fucking what. So
Yeah.
yeah, what would you say is like a step or two into that zone if you have anything?
A really good step into the zone is trying to get an understanding of where your mental bandwidth is going. There's an amazing teacher named Neville Goddard, and Neville Goddard taught a lot of this about the concept of the Bible really being a analogy for the human psyche. There's something that he uses called state akin to sleep, which is right before you're about to sleep at night. You could set a timer on your phone, whatever you need to do, but just as you're laying down, closing your eyes, about to go to sleep, just observe what's coming up in your mind. And you're probably, most people listening are probably going to find, why did I eat that thing at dinner? I've ruined my diet again. That asshole cut me off. He's lucky I didn't rear end him. You know, Susie at work said that thing to me. Oh my God, what it's going to be like when I see her tomorrow. Like, and you'll realize, like you were saying, the way you spotted your self-talk, we have to start to observe our thoughts. And once you realize what your thoughts are doing, you can start shifting it in the other direction. You can catch yourself just before bed saying, no, you know what? Today was a great day. I had a great day. And think of 3 things you're grateful for. And then my intention for tomorrow is to wake up feeling good. My intention for tomorrow is to treat myself better, to set better boundaries. Like, you do have to understand what your starting point is. And once we start playing with that, then there's just 2 exercises that sound very simple, but I want everyone listening to do this. It will take you a while, but trust me, it's worth it. That is literally just writing a list of 100 material things that you want. There is no price limit. There is no budget. There is no limit. It could be a 50 bedroom house on a private island that you own, that you fly to in your private jet. There is literally.
I want a helicopter. Can I
There you
can
go.
I put a helicopter in this?
100% yes.
Can I put Jordan Peterson on this list? Is that not material?
You can't own Jordan. Now, there's going to be a second.
I want to. Just kidding.
Yes, right? So step 1 is a list of 100 material things, right? Yeah. You may want a new microphone for your podcast studio.
You're making me have to go to list. I've written so many notes on your episode, and I'm going to have to go to.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
So 100 material things, start there. And then the second list is 100 experiences. It could be a podcast with Jordan Peterson. It could be diving with whale sharks off the coast of Australia. It could be whatever you want. And what people are going to find, just spoiler alert, is you're going to find your own limitations of what you think you deserve. Because when you say, I want a new car, I want a Toyota Camry, it's like, okay, do you actually want a Toyota Camry? Because we know that a Rolls Royce is available. You can have a Rolls Royce, you can have a McLaren, right? You can have a G-Wagon. If you want a Toyota Camry, why do you not want a G-Wagon, right?
Yeah.
And all those stories that come up are going to be from childhood. You're going to find, well, I don't need, who needs a $300,000 car? That's such a waste. Like, I could use that $300,000 to feed starving children in Africa, right? They're going to come up with all these stories that are all programmed scarcity. Okay. We believe that this is not an infinite pie, that there is not infinite abundance in this world. We believe that we're destroying the climate and there's water problems and if I have a $300,000 car, that means some person somewhere else is getting screwed over in some way. Yep. It's just not true. Yep. So start writing 100 material things, 100 experiences with no limitations, and watch the blockages you run into. It's going to be very telling.
Okay. That's going to be interesting. Cool. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how it goes, man.
Cool. Justin, I just want to say, as we wrap here, thank you for the work you do. I can see why Ariel has been impacted by you for years, because we all need this. The world needs this. We need to have the reminders, like sometimes just the simple encouragement of the mirrors in our life and ourselves, like just encouraging yourself, like, hey, you're doing something, you're trying, you're going for it, you're taking the time to listen to things that are good for you, and you're going for your dreams, you're leaving things that aren't good for you, and so much of what you're doing is giving that to people in a time that I think a lot of people are looking for it. So yeah, thank you for what you do.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. And thank you. One thing you touched on there that I think is important. Sorry, I know we keep running over about that. I want people to understand that the whole mirror concept of changing self to change other, realizing that there are going to be people that do not belong in your life. Yeah. So you said this, leaving things that aren't good for you. Like, if you're with someone who treats you poorly every day and you come at them with love and they keep treating you poorly every day, the mirror is not trying to show you that there's a problem with you. The mirror is trying to show you you have a really hard time walking away from things that aren't good for you. And there's a line I use for this when a relationship needs to end. Unconditional love does not mean unconditional commitment, and it does not mean that you get unconditional access. There are people in my life from my past who I love unconditionally, and they know the door is always open, but the way that they are now, the way that they treat me, they are not allowed in my life.
Yep.
And that's because, like you said,
love yourself.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
All right, brother. Well, we're gonna wrap there. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for sharing the love.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, let me know what you like the best, what stood out to you, what practice you're going to try, what questions that maybe Justin didn't answer that you're curious about. Let's ask, and then maybe we'll still find some way to get it to Justin. Yeah, stay hungry, stay curious.
Amazing, man. Thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome, brother. Okay, the thing I think I really like about this episode is how tangible it is. It feels like something that we can all do. And I don't know about you, but especially the way that I was raised, it feels a little bit radical to have this unconditional love for yourself and operating in life from that way. The reason I do this thing is because I love myself. The reason I pursue this thing is I love myself. It's really cool. Yeah. What was your favorite part? I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite part was. Again, big thank you to Ariel for being the main catalyst for this episode happening. And hey, Cultured Crew, is there anybody else that you think you'd want to see from? Somebody that's either in the cult space, because we're going to do more episodes around that. Maybe somebody that you think would be good for an experience that you think I would like to try, because I'm going to do more experiences as well, or something like this that is around the empowerment as well, because that's what I want to, why I did an episode like this is I want to talk about things that I care about and believe in, and in that individual empowerment is a big thing for me. So yeah, any comment you have around that, I will be in the comments, so let me know. Please like, please subscribe. As I said with Justin, stay hungry, stay curious. Peace.